Welcome to Pop Culture as a division of Multi-Poptural. The show is rated R for strong language. Warning everybody, there are spoilers ahead. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes at Multi-Poptural. That's MULTIPOPTURAL. And without further ado, here are your hosts for today's debauchery.
From the 36 chambers, it's the ghost. Tang Killa Bees.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another phenomenal episode of Multi. Churro, the sexiest podcast on the planet. Yeah, we're bringing sexy back. I'm your host.
Until you said that.
I am your host, Brian, a.k.a. B. Hearn, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Razor Ramon.
Your tax man. Óyame, chico. You steal from Razor Ramon.
Over here, it's your boy Jadon, aka the J Dizza, aka turn the other cheek and I'll break your fucking chin.
I don't give a what you think, Jerry.
Expose them. It's on you, Paul.
Paul's drinking.
We had our high school, by the way, shout out to Page Pirates. We had our high school reunion last night. We got it in like it was 1998.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yo, my name is Paul. P Diddy.
P Diddy.
Take that.
I've heard of you.
Take that. That's going to be your soundbite. Take that.
Miami P Loose, P Sleaze. And,
Master P.
Master P.
Yeah, all that. Percy Miller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Government
For the
name.
Hornets.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Charlotte all day. This is Mateo Feliciano, a.k.a. Is he dead?
Going hard the whole night, cause I ain't going back to my old life, I promise.
What the fuck you mean is he fucking dead?
You see what I did? Damn, that was
Keep
brilliant.
up with me, man. Keep up.
Damn, that was brilliant.
We're talking about Into the 36 Chambers.
That's right, 25-year anniversary, baby.
Yes.
1993. Where were you
93.
at 1993? I'll tell you where I was.
I was 13.
I was being 13 somewhere.
Yeah, it was big 13.
So
Grounded and shit.
my Enter the 36 story goes, I received a bootleg cassette
Okay.
of Enter the 36 Chambers and Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style in my Christmas stocking. Wow! And they were both bootleg,
Legit bootlegs.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, was side B actually even there, or was it just side A?
It was there wasn't like the fucking songs.
Right.
There was no
just
list.
the cover.
Oh yeah, it was just a photograph copy.
And you were grateful to get it.
I looked at it. I said, "What is this?" And my mom said, "Your Uncle Michael said you should have these." And
Your Uncle Michael's cool as shit.
I just put them in. I just put them in your stocking, and I said, "Okay." I put that first tape in, and I play all my music really loud, but it came on and said, "Bring the motherfucking ruckus." And Mom's was like, "Huh?"
What did I do?
Uncle Mike, what are you giving my boy?
So that was like also the Snoop Doggy Style was like really bad, really bad.
Yeah.
But she had the idea of, okay, so if they're gonna be talking about this, let me listen to it first.
Oh, God.
And I'll get it back to you. I never got him back.
I was going to say, that shit never came back.
I never got them back. But I did, since it was bootleg, I had, more bootleg and just kept bootlegging. Enter the 36 changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed the way people talked. It changed the way people spoke and walked. Everything. And there was it was a whole new world.
Yeah.
A whole new vernacular. Everything changed.
Agreed.
That's my Enter the 36 story. Thanks, Uncle Michael.
Yes. Shout out to Uncle Mike.
You're cool as fuck.
That's crazy you brought up the Doggy Style album. because I forgot that was that same year. And
Ooh, Paul, you got a sexy voice.
for all the ladies.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
want to
Quiet storm.
Storm, yeah.
You want me to change spots?
So
Just throwing out the option.
DJ
that album came out. It was 3 albums that year. It was another album that was that year too. It was one of my first introductions into like gangster rap like that. Because before then, I remember it was like I listened to a bunch of R&B because like that was played in the house, and the rap that I listened to was like
Montel Jordan.
Will Smith.
Ooh, that is so disrespectful.
I know, I'm sorry.
like Cool Mo D, and like like
we
right, yeah. Shit, even Will Smith was before that. When he was fresh, when he was
You were
fresh.
listening to LL, that old LL.
LL, yeah.
Yeah. And there was another album. It was the one. What's the little Bushwick Bill?
Bushwick
Ghetto
Bill.
Boys.
Yeah, the Ghetto Boys.
Yes.
The Ghetto Boys.
Mine's playing tricks on.
Yeah. And I remember I used to play that play those 3 joints in my Walkman on the bus because I couldn't play it in my house. And I don't even know how I got those. I can't remember how I got those. I think you know what? BB.
Oh, BB's music?
BB's
In
music.
Quaker Village?
I rode up.
Oh,
I miss BB so much.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out to
rode
that.
my bike up there, and they would let me.
You could listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you could listen
They
to
had
it.
the headphones.
And they would sell to you because back then you weren't supposed to sell like explicit lyric stuff
Right.
to kids,
Underage kids, yeah.
But they would all, they would sell it to me.
But this kid has cash.
right? Man.
Lo and behold.
Oh yeah.
Well, I remember back in '93 when I was a 13-year-old little cracker from fucking nowhere, New York,
Cracking-ass cracker.
nowhere, North Carolina. I think I've spoken about this that 102 was the quote the dirty station. Yeah, and so when I heard that, I was like, I've got to listen to the dirty station. And so I don't ever remember hearing Wu-Tang on 102 Jams, but I do remember
I don't either.
that time.
Same.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they really didn't.
Yeah.
But I remember the time frame, and like Dre had blown up
Mm-hmm.
like a year before, and I was so like all I heard all my life was this like classic rock and like all this like jingity like, and I just
How'd that go?
jangity.
I know that track.
Yeah, it was quite popular. And
Jiggly.
I just knew that I knew what I didn't like, and it was that. And so I sought out
that shit I don't
anything
like.
that sounded different. And what I found is back then I really loved the kung fu movies. And the dubs. And just watching it, I always thought that the dubs were hilarious. But it was
It made all the sense,
I
though.
figured it out later that it made sense.
It made
'cause
all the sense.
I couldn't understand it otherwise. Anyway, but no, I loved kung fu movies. And then I heard the 36 Chambers, and they're like, oh my God, I've actually seen this movie.
Yeah.
This is the part where he's like running across the logs in the water. I was like, I've totally seen this. And it was just such a great thing to know that these guys that were making such killer music were into the same kind of things that I was into. Like kung fu movies and fucking comic books and like all this nerdy shit that I thought was, don't talk about this shit. You know, people think you're a nerd. Shut the fuck up.
Chess.
No, these guys were talking about it and like living it and loved it. And you could totally tell. Like the moment I heard the album, I just knew that these guys were something that were going to blow up.
Something not to be fucked with.
Yes.
Not to be fucked with.
Yes.
That was another one that came on really loud, and Mom was like,
That's going to be a no from me, dog. She Randy Jackson that shit.
That shit was like,
a
it
fart
was a
joke, dog.
mesmerizing chant, though. It was like,
Yeah. I
you
mean,
can't fuck with them.
Exactly. Exactly. And to me, it's obviously no surprise that Wu-Tang is one of my favorite groups of all time. And, to harp on your guys' point, to me, Wu-Tang was, I think they were one of the first to really bridge the gap as far as, just like you mentioned, as far as like not just like kung fu movies and nerd culture, but to make it to where like, I thought a lot of like white people were fucking into it. which was awesome.
Oh, we were.
Jadon is our man on the street for that.
I'm a resident whitey.
Yeah, but
ask me anything.
yeah, I mean, to me, they just, they didn't give a shit, and they just broke so many barriers, and it was in the midst of the G-Funk era. I mean, Dre was fucking killing it. The West Coast was tearing it up all, across the world, really, not just in the U.S., and you got these 9 guys from, putting Staten Island on the fucking map.
9 of them.
Nine of
There's
them.
9 of them.
9
and
of
all
them.
9 of them were spitting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Straight.
All 9 of them.
Straight bars. And RZA's fucking beats are just grimy, homegrown
That was some new shit,
beats.
too.
Yeah,
Like-
no sampling, none of that bullshit, because nothing against Dre. I think Dre's one of the greatest producers of all time, but he used a lot of sampling in his tracks. This was just straight raw, uncut shit. Oh, sorry, my fucking watch is going off.
You got an appointment, man?
No, it goes off at 3:29 every day, and I can't figure out how to shut this fucker off.
329.
I don't know.
Leave it at
I
home.
don't know. U.S. Polo. But, on Matthew's point, too, my parents were very against the parental advisory CDs. My dad actually tore apart my bedroom one day and found them all. And this is when I lived in Michigan, and he fucking sold them. And I'm talking like this album, Tupac, All Eyes on Me, the whole 9 yards. And then he felt bad a week later and gave me like $200 to go buy all my shit back. Thank God. Because I was depressed.
Not mom.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah, he
not
ended up feeling bad because, I mean, that was, Wu-Tang, just like music in general, that was my release. That's where I was at home and could just be myself and just not give a shit about the world. And, their tracks from everything from Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With, which is still one of my favorite tracks. I mean, I think they were like one of the first groups that are like, we're not to be trifled with. Yeah. And, everything from Tears to, of course, Cream and Method Man got his own track. And it's just crazy having all 9 of these individuals out there and their personalities shine on these tracks. Like, I always try to figure out how they figured out who was going to be on what track. Because, obviously not all 9 are on every single
I could
track.
not
Way too many
attempt to do
people.
that.
Right.
Like, I could, listening to it.
Right.
It's like, how did that happen?
Right.
Like, it's
So I
just
don't, yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So I
don't
can't.
know. Yeah. I don't know if there's a process of elimination or just, hey, whoever shows up to the studio today, here's like these 3 beats, spit
Showed
some
up
bars.
with 40s and blunts.
Yeah. And, and introduced us to, all, these 9 characters that I thought played off each other very well. Everybody from You God to Master Killer to, of course, Old Dirty Bastard, R.I.P. He came out and said, I got burnt not once, but twice by gonorrhea. At that point, when I'm 13 years old, the only ES I know of is diarrhea. So I remember asking my dad, I'm like, what's gonorrhea? I'm pretty sure he spit out his drink. He was like, where the fuck did you hear that from? It's like,
My music.
nowhere.
I didn't think I'd have this conversation with you way later.
I was waiting at least another 4 years for this conversation, but
Damn you, Wu-Tang.
From the streets, pops. Wu-Tang.
like I said, to me, it was just instrumental on bringing the East Coast back on the map, especially during the G-Funk era, and just exposing us to this different culture that we never even knew existed. Just like Jadon said, I thought it was incredibly monumental how they put in the Kung Fu movie samples, which are, some of my favorite samples to this fucking day. And, as the solo albums went on, they were still incorporating that, which I love. And, I mean, these guys ended up making fucking 9 more albums together. I mean, there's groups that break up after, like, an album. And there's 9 of these fuckers.
With way less members.
Right, right. So, that's my little Wu-Tang story.
I appreciated them a little more. I had a stronger appreciation because they were from New York and because
Right.
all the videos I saw were like them in the projects.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
hey, I know that place. And
Yeah.
then the Ain't Nothing to Fuck With video was like in the projects with fire and
Yep.
shit. And I'm like,
Very
I
low
wanna
budget.
be there. Yeah.
Yeah, very low budget, very on the streets. And to Jadon's point, too, I know you mentioned 102 Jams. I mean, that's the thing. These guys weren't getting a lot of radio play, and especially
Not
back
here.
then in the early 90s. Right. I mean, it was hard to find more than one hip-hop station anywhere.
You'd occasionally hear Cream.
Right,
Occasionally.
once in a blue moon. And you see it in movies like Kids and shit like that. You'd see it more on soundtracks, but it was very, this is before the days of YouTube and everything else. I mean, you'd have to like hit a college radio station up and at, on like a 2 o'clock on a Saturday, and they might play some
UNCG
Wu-Tang.
shit. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's not like they were getting a ton of airplay. I mean, the whole entire movement was straight from the underground, and just just like you said, the videos, homegrown. You know, I think they made Protect Your Neck for like $300, and they paid for it all in quarters. So, I mean, these guys, they were grimy from the fucking street, man.
That's real as hell.
So, that's my Wu-Tang story. Before we get to our top solo albums, we're going to take a quick little time out for a commercial spot. A big thank you to one of our sponsors, Jeff Beal, and his team at Throwback Custom Cars in Raleigh, North Carolina. For over 30 years, they have specialized in classic car restoration as well as residential/commercial automation technology and audio-video systems. There is no project too big or too small, and they work all across the U.S. To set up a consultation, contact Jeff at 919-235-8337 or go to throwbackcustomcars.com and fill out the Contact Us form.
My number one offspring from the Wu-Tang would be Only Built for Cuban Links.
Nice.
The purple tape.
Oh, yeah.
Purple tape.
Yeah.
The purple
That's
CD case,
definitely
too.
my favorite.
And it was the most stolen thing I've ever owned.
I thought I owned this. Fuck.
I got the tape, I got the CD, and then I got the tape again, and then I got the CD, and then I couldn't find the purple tape, so I just got the regular tape, and then I got the CD again. But the background was purple tinted, and it,
How much is that worth now?
I don't know, I can't find it. It was stolen. I do want the purple vinyl though. Anybody
Yes.
out there?
Can you still
hit
get
us
the
up.
purple tape like as purple? Like
I don't think you can
Maybe on eBay.
On
or
eBay.
something.
That's about it.
for thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. They did do a reissue where they had it like in a box framed. It was pretty rad, but it's still just a tape.
Yeah. Remember, we went to the Purple Tape show a couple years ago
did.
to Fillmore. That shit
And it was
dope.
fantastic. They did the whole purple
They
tape
did the
from
whole joint?
front
Yeah,
to back.
Front to back. And then they still did Protect Your Neck. They did, him and Ghostface did their verses on a couple Wu-Tang joints. It was fucking incredible.
It was incredible. I lost my voice.
Yep.
I met Danielle,
Yep.
the homie.
The homie, Daniel Hausnick.
We were-
Shout
we
out.
were- that was my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were FUBAR.
We drank a little bit.
A little bit.
What are your other two albums?
So, Liquid Swords is like a super close second.
Yeah. The intro alone.
The Shogun Assassin.
Yeah. That's probably my favorite
My
album
dad
intro
was
of all
famous.
time. Yep. My father was famous. That was
They
actually
said
my
his
daughter's
brain
ringtone
was
for a while.
infected by devils.
He
And
was the greatest samurai in the empire.
I actually revisited Takal like last week,
Okay.
and I didn't appreciate it for what it was back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it, and it was dope to have fresh
Right.
Method Man, and it was new woo.
Yeah.
But he said some slick shit on there, and the beats are great. Takal probably, I don't know. I can't.
You know my favorite track on there
'Cause
is
he
What
was-
the Blood Clot. I fucking love that song.
The beat is crazy.
Yeah.
So I said for the longest time that Ghost was my favorite out of all of them. I don't know. Like Supreme Clientele might be my third.
Sure.
Damn, you got all my joints.
Welcome to my world. They always take all the
Supreme
good shit.
Clientele would be number 3, and I put that over Iron Man. And Iron Man's a fucking
Iron
classic.
Man's straight fire.
And that's an argument in itself.
Yeah.
But it's Ghost, so Supreme Clientele was heavily stepped on.
So one thing, as we was talking about it, about Wu-Tang. It's funny thing is I had a conversation with my homeboys about Wu-Tang it's probably like last year. But they were I don't think I really appreciated then kind of what they were. Like they still have their own lane.
Yeah.
Like their originality out of everything that they did.
Yep.
Like not only just from the raps and like their own slang, but just like the intros to the song.
They walk different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't
I
walk,
walk
they get
with the
carried.
Wu-Tang slang. Yeah.
That's
I don't walk, I get carried. ODB.
but they were like there's something that's never been like duplicated. You can't even
can't.
No.
you can't even really
It's
like
impossible.
No.
Find 9 guys. Really.
and they were all like different too. Like even all the
Exactly.
members is like how usually like the only people like group I could probably compare to them as like a legacy, not compared to them like as in the same, but like they had their own thing, and like it was that dope, and they transcended races and time. It was like Outkast.
Good call. Good call on that.
And you know how like Big Boy and Dre are, you know, two different people.
Yeah.
Like the Ghost album is gonna be different than Raekwon's.
Right.
And Inspector Dex, and you know.
They complement each other so well.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Especially on that Iron Man album. Fuck.
Yeah.
So good.
Iron Man was when we heard Capadonna for the first
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Yep.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Winter
The easily
Wars.
Shout out to our boy
forgettable,
Saba.
member.
Saba loves some Capadonna.
Like, oh shit, Capadonna was with
He was
them
on
for
Winter
a
Wars,
while.
right?
Yes.
That was his first like actual.
That was from,
Wu-Tang
like,
track, from High School High, the soundtrack.
Oh, it was before that. It
Oh,
was
okay.
Don't Be a Menace while
Oh,
drinking
the
your
South
juice.
Central, yeah,
Yes.
yes, the
Yes.
Marlon, the Wayans
Yes, the
brothers,
Wayans
fucking
brothers.
movie.
Yes.
Never forget
That's
that movie poster.
So it was on. Yes. He had a super
Great
soaker.
movie
I think he
poster.
had a
think of the
super
movie,
Not a
I
great
think
movie.
of that picture. So funny.
Yeah, that was on that
What'd you
soundtrack.
say about my mama?
We got a problem.
We have a problem.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all something too, real quick.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how did y'all compare the 36 Chambers to Wu-Tang Forever album?
That is actually a very good question, man.
I was thankful
Is it
that
fair?
we got the big album. Really, I mean, I was like,
The double
wow,
disc?
I'm good.
Yeah, the double disc.
I don't care what it is.
Enhanced CD.
Yes.
You can open up some more chambers if you put it in your CD-ROM.
This is true. I'll tell you, I will say, shout out to
Millennials
the
are like,
very shout out to the very well missed record exchange that used to be on Battleground. 'Cause
Midnight
I
Sale.
remember going to the Midnight Sale.
And they
for
always
that
had the
album.
good tickets to the
They
concerts.
really
too.
did, man. And to me, I obviously enjoyed it, and it was a long time coming. They, I think the majority of them already had their first solo album out before they did Wu-Tang Forever. And I still think Reunited is one of my favorite Wu-Tang
Yeah, mine
tracks.
too, yeah.
And to me,
With the violin. Was that
With the violin.
Gary Ben Ari? Yeah.
and I would love, there's always like particular beats that people freestyle over. Nobody ever really freestyles over that beat, and I would like to see accomplished, hip hop artists,
Trademark.
hippopotamus,
Hip Hop Anonymous.
freestyle over this. But ODB's verse in that, you could tell he's like a fucking like mad dog that just got let loose. And you could
Free
tell
lunch
he was
from the
just like,
church.
oh my goodness,
He's like the
gracious,
Mohawk
man.
guy in Road Warrior. Like,
Yes.
He's like, go.
Yep. I mean,
it's your
that's
time
what he,
to
he
shine.
comes
Go.
up with. I don't walk, I get carried. I mean, God, I love that fucking.
You believe
I love
him.
that
You
album.
believe
yeah.
him.
Yeah, he brings it. He brings it. And to me, I thoroughly, obviously enjoyed Wu-Tang Forever. I thought it was a great double disc, and I think everybody was waiting for it.
I think that went over a lot of people's heads at the time too, though.
Right.
Unfortunately, but like it was a
that
certified
was what,
banger. Like,
98?
It was a banger.
It was a certified banger.
Yeah.
Like everything, like Black Shampoo,
Right.
everything on there was like worth listening to.
Yeah.
But I think it went over a lot of heads.
Yeah. And then, of course, to keep going on ODB, dog shit.
Dog shit. That was my joint right
That's
there.
just his, like, I don't
You've been
give a
shitted
fuck.
on.
That means, you've been shitted on. I would just love to have been in the studio one time while he's recording just to experience that shit. What's your take on Wu-Tang Forever there, J-Dom?
Well, I mean, the spin-off albums, right? So I immediately gravitated to Ghostface's Iron Man just because I'm a comic nerd. I was like, holy shit, this guy's talking about Iron
All the
Man
Tony
like
Starks.
he's Tony Starks. I was like, who is Tony Starks? I was like, this guy sounds awesome. But no, that like Iron Man is my number one album. I love, even above Supreme Clientele.
I like that.
I love the debut album.
You ain't wrong.
I loved it so much. And then let's see. Not a lot of people were big fans of Master Killer's solo albums.
it No
but
Said Date?
No Said Date
No
is
Said Date was
fucking
hard.
awesome.
Yeah.
He's very, I think he's the most underrated
He's
Wu-Tang
underrated.
member.
He really
underrated.
is. I mean, like, the music is banging, and then like he pulls out some like crazy shit, and I wasn't expecting that from him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was immediately just, I love that album.
No.
And you can't get over the CD that looks like a fucking shuriken. I mean, come on. I opened it up. I was like, I don't care what this shit sounds like. This dude's cool as fuck.
It looks good.
And
He
then
looked good, though.
my number 3, I mean, of course, Cuban Links is so good. But I got back into hip hop right when Fish Scale came out. And I was like, holy shit. This came out of nowhere. Like, a lot of people had forgotten about, I mean, like, how could this be? But
Right.
like, a lot of people were like, yeah, Wu-Tang, I've heard of them. And then Fish Scale comes out, and you're like, wow.
I think it's safe to
Holy
say Ghost is like
shit.
the most consistent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ghost man.
Most talented MC in the group.
Most talented storyteller.
I'll
like
agree
that.
with that.
I
I'll
like
agree with
that.
But no, he's amazing. And that album, just when it came out, I was like, holy shit. It was like a revitalization. Like, God, I love these guys so much. And like, here's an album where I can get behind it, and this reminds me of old times, you know?
Word.
I like that.
Yo, Ghost,
I like that.
little known fact, he won a poetry award for his verse on Impossible
Really?
in Wu-Tang Forever. Yeah.
Nice.
Nah, Jamie, don't start that shit.
I like that.
If we escape hell, we getting fucked up.
We'd like to take the time to thank one of our sponsors, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. Located here in Greensboro, North Carolina, he can assist you with your criminal as well as traffic violations, and his practice includes Guilford, Forsyth, as well as all surrounding counties. To set up a free consultation, you can contact him at 336-663-2388, and you can also visit him on his website, attorneynewman.com.
I was going to do a top 3, but I got to do a top 5, and this is going to be in no particular order. I got to go with, I know. I just, it's like trying to choose between your kids. I mean,
that's
you,
easy.
you always have a favorite, don't get me wrong. I only have one, so she's my favorite. But
One hood, one good.
Thanks, Jerry.
coming in with the white report, Jerry. So I got to go Inspect the Deck, Uncontrolled Substance.
So good.
So damn good.
So
It took
good.
forever to come out. It felt like. I think he was one of him and You God were like the 2 last ones. It seemed like to fucking come out with a solo album. The beats, the lyrics. Inspect the Deck is definitely in my top 3 as far as Wu-Tang members, just with his bars in general. Another one of my favorites, not so much solo album because I did not like the Bobby Digital album that much, but I really
get that.
loved him on.
Love the cover.
Yes, love the cover. But my favorite RZA project that's not Wu-Tang related is
Gravediggers.
6 Feet Deep. That's still one of my top hip hop albums of all time.
That shit was so scary.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was the short-lived horrorcore movement. It was them and Flatliners and like Nodis and a couple other groups out there that were really doing the horrorcore shit. But I think the Gravediggers did it best. And everything from 6 Feet Deep to 2 Cups of Blood, even the outro, the G to the R
Yes.
to the A to the V. I mean,
Hey,
it's
back up,
just
back
dope.
up.
Of course, Old Dirty Bastard, Return to the 36 Chambers, just pure fucking gold. To Cal, I know Matt touched on that earlier, and then Jizza, Liquid Swords. I mean, like I said, from the intro to the end, just a phenomenal.
It's such a smart album.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
so smart.
So damn good. I mean, Duel of the Iron Mike, fucking. What's the one with D'Angelo on it? Or no, D'Angelo did the remix for Cold World.
Did he?
I think so. I think he did
wasn't
the
there
Cold
for
World
that.
remix.
We'll
but-
say yes.
Yeah. It might be true, might not be true, but I'm pretty sure it's true.
I mean, you get why they called him the genius. Like, that album is
Didn't
like,
have time to
very
swing the
awesome.
hammer that was hanging from his farm.
Yeah, I mean, even labels when he's literally talking shit about all the
All the
fucking
labels.
record labels.
That was
Tommy
the
ain't
single.
my motherfucking
That was
boy.
the first single.
Yeah,
With
yeah, that was on it was a
the
dual.
B-side.
Yeah, it was a B-side to Liquid Swords.
Yes.
Yep.
I had that single, and it was this white cassette.
White.
The Protect Your Neck was it was a white.
That was-
you know
no,
what I
it
miss?
was-
I miss single cassettes.
Yeah.
And that was, single cassettes
Singles?
was the first time where you were actually hear the parental advisory version of it, because you would hear it on the radio or on TV the few times you actually get to hear it. And I remember fucking Brooklyn Zoo the first time I heard the actual version of it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, holy shit, my ears are bleeding in a good way. But I didn't expect all
That was another great video.
Where's my
Just
mom right
in
now?
the hallway,
Yep.
staircase.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shimmy
that's
Shimmy
where he
Ya
was
is
the whole
probably.
video.
Yeah.
That was just that.
That was
one.
it.
Just
Just
in one
the hallway with
staircase.
him and his boys.
Yeah, this will work right here.
Action.
This will do just fine.
One take.
Yeah, open the door. It's like, this will do.
Bring out the equipment.
The original one take hove.
Oh,
And Shimmy Shimmy Ya is probably, as far as music videos goes, that's one of my favorites.
It's a classic song.
Yeah, classic song.
Any
with this
52
classic video.
states.
I wonder who did the beat for that
on, bro.
Brooklyn Zoo.
I'm pretty sure it was RZA.
RZA did that?
Pretty sure.
Yo, he's a
He's
beast.
done a
He's
lot.
fucking
He's
monster.
done a
And
lot. He does a lot of
his
scores,
basement got
too.
flooded. And he lost a lot of shit while they were recording Wu-Tang Forever. And he had to go back in and, from memory, and try to remember a ton of his beats that he recorded.
What?
Yep.
Like remake the
Yep.
beats off of memory?
Yeah, because he did all the production in his crib in Staten Island. Shout out to Shaolin. Shout out to
He's like
Richmond.
unsung.
Richmond
man.
Hood Company.
Big shout out to Richmond Hood Company.
Wow. This store, holy shit. I took a trip to Staten Island. The ferry was free. I loved it. I saw the drug dogs. I was a little nervous.
Is that the quote? Go to Staten Island. It's free.
Ferry's free.
But no.
That's the selling point.
No, really, it's very free. It's very convenient.
Hella
Just
free.
a little free.
I got off the ferry and immediately got an Uber over to the Richmond Hood Company. That's the location of the new-ish Wu-Tang Hurricane mural in
yes.
New York. And so I went there just to see the mural and take pictures and put my fucking W up and all kinds of shit. And then I was like, well, it's near this Richmond Hood Company. I should probably check this out. Holy shit. This place is amazing. If you talk about sneakers, talk about vintage hip hop gear, you're looking at this shirt.
I'm looking at it.
I've got the 20th anniversary of DC and Wu-Tang put this shirt out, and it says it's just streets and boards and bees and swords. And this came out 5 years ago for the 20th anniversary. And I just happened to walk in on that day. I look at the rack, and there's this T-shirt, this vintage T-shirt, sitting on the rack in a large, waiting for me. That's the kind of shit you will find. You really will. They curate a lot of vintage stuff. They've got a lot of new stuff, and then they've got, he said, Redman's in there all the time.
Oh God, I know I need to be hanging out at.
He's got his own little clothing line that's in there.
He just gave him a shout out on IG too.
Yes, yes. I mean, I believed him, and then I looked on IG, and I was like, holy shit. I mean,
yeah, he's in here.
I'm glad. No, so big shout out to Peter over at Richmond Hood Company. You really made an impression. We can't wait to work with you in the future, and keep it up because your shop is so awesome, and you've got such a draw. That mural is such a draw to your
that's
shop.
incredible.
If you have a day to kill in New York, take the ferry, take the
Because it's
Uber,
free.
and jump and get down there. You'll love it. The Staten Island Artist Alley. You'll see some of the coolest graffiti. You'll see some of the most awesome street art you've ever seen in your life.
Awesome.
Street art, yes.
Awesome.
Shout out to the skits on every album.
Yes.
Cuban Links was
Definitely
Iron Man.
Cuban
Iron
Links.
Man was funny. Like I'm hit, son. I'm hit. Oh, you're bleeding, son. Bad, son. Are you guys really in the studio
you mean
doing
is
this?
he fucking dead?
Oh shit, niggas try to assassinate me.
Raekwon had really good skits with the 49, the mobilarity shit.
Oh, and then what was the one before Incarcerated Scarfaces, where he does the hitman shit?
Yes.
That one was dope.
What was the one where Meth was like, "I'll fucking"?
That was
that's
that was
before
on
Method
Enter
Man.
36.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Fucking
Cut your fucking balls off.
stab you with
So
a
your
rusty
asshole
knife.
closed and keep feeding you.
I remember my mom walked in my room when that shit was playing, and she was like,
Nope.
We ain't doing this.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah. Shout out to our parents for trying to look out for
Shout
us.
out to moms
But at the
walking
end of
in
the
and
day-
just shaking their heads.
That's right. At the end of the day, Wu-Tang is for the children.
To this day, if I played that shit, I would get the same look. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what are you doing with yourself?
I mean, there's times where I listen to it and I'm like, it's a little much.
Yeah, it can be much.
Keep feeding
13.
you, feeding you.
But it's yeah, that's the thing though.
At
Like
13.
we were 13,
Yeah.
14, whatever.
We were
It's like-
ruling the world then. You know, we didn't give a shit.
but we were moldable at that point. It was like,
true.
we got it at the right
We're
time.
stuck now. There's no changing us now.
I think like it's not for everybody. Wu-Tang, I don't know.
It's not for everyone, but it is for
It
the
should be,
children.
though.
It is. Yeah,
should
definitely
be.
for the children.
Don't go to summer school.
Go
Buy
to,
Wu-Tang
Staten,
forever.
go to Staten Island.
In more words of ODB, don't walk, get carried.
Get carried.
That's going to wrap it up for us today on this episode of Multi. Sure. Make sure you check us out next week. Be sure to leave some comments for us. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I forgot everything else we're on. SoundCloud, Spotify.
All the things.
All the things.
Social
Literally, we're
medias.
everywhere.
All the
Subscribe,
interwebs.
Oh, the
rate
interwebs.
us
The dark
at
web.
the dark web. Don't get us on the dark web, man. I don't want to die.
Oh, it's already there.
I saw the movie. That shit's trippy.
Shout out to Ghostface's giant eagle on his arm. I seen that shit in person, and it is massive.
It is
and
massive.
It's very heavy.
Didn't they used to have the chain with the big ass
Yeah, it was
gold?
a
Oh, yeah.
giant medallion dinner
He was
plate.
really the first one, minus like Cool Mo D, as far as like newer guys that started doing that shit before Rick Ross and everybody else.
Oh yeah,
Ghostface
it was
doing
him and Slick Rick. I mean,
Yes.
and Slick Rick like donned him the next guy.
Yep.
But
He knighted him.
yeah, he knighted him.
Sir Ghostface.
And much respect to Ghost too, because he never switched over to the platinum and all that shit.
No.
Yeah.
Like people went to
True.
platinum,
Straight
and
gold.
diamonds, and all that. He kept his shit
Good call.
gold, gold, fucking big ass
Straight
chains,
cash,
yeah.
homie.
Yeah.
And he rocked robes. Like he did some Ric Flair
did,
shit.
yes.
Like,
Yes,
Yeah,
the fuck
did.
he
Fucking
did.
robe.
he wore a velvet robe
Yes, you did.
with a big ass eagle and a dinner plate and a do rag and a fucking
Dinner
do
plate
rag.
and a do-rag.
And it made all the sense. It made all
it
the
looked
sense.
good. He made that shit look good. Now, guess what I'm going to go buy?
Yep,
A robe.
robes.
And a dinner
giant
plate.
Gold eagle. Yeah, check us out next week. Again, Multi-Poptural, MULTIPOPTURAL. Check out the website, all our social media shit. See you next time. Later.
Peace.
Yep.
Woo!
A game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first, right?
Thanks for listening to another episode of Pop Culture as Fuck, presented by Multi-Poptural. Be sure to check us out at our website for all the latest news and notes. You can find us at www.popcultureaf.com or multipoptural.com. And we'll see you next week, you filthy animals.
Yes! Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.